Good evening and welcome to the September 11, 2018 public budget hearing. We have a quorum, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. If you would join us for a moment of silence and maybe take some time and remember all of our heroes and first responders who have helped us over the years, and especially 17 years ago, and maybe pray for them this day that they would remain safe. Mr. Smith?
Please rise. Say the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
County Manager, I'm going to turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you. This, as you know, is the first of our two public hearings for the upcoming fiscal year 2018-2019 budget. Agenda item D1 allows, Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, allows for the reading of the tentative aggregate operating millage rate to fund the portion of the 2018-2019 budget that is supported by property taxes. At this time, I would ask that the Budget Office read into the record the tentative aggregate millage rate for fiscal year 2018-2019.
Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, the aggregate tentative millage rate for the fiscal year 2018-2019 budget is 6.0349. The tentative aggregate millage rate is 4.61% less than the aggregate current fiscal year 2017-2018 millage rate of 6.3268. The aggregate rollback rate for the fiscal year 2018-2019 budget is 6.0349. The aggregate tentative millage rate for fiscal year 2018-2019 budget is 6.0349. The tentative aggregate millage rate represents a 0% change when compared to the aggregate rollback rate.
Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, agenda item D2 allows for the public to comment on the revised tentative county budget for fiscal year 2018-2019. Before we begin public comment, I would ask that the Budget Office read into the record the revised tentative budget information.
The fiscal year 2018-2019 tentative budget is $1,302,977,360. The budget represents an increase of $18,056,545, or 1.41%, more than the fiscal year 2017-2018 current budget of $1,284,920,815.
Madam Chair, we are now ready to accept public comments on the revised tentative budget for fiscal year 2018-2019.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to begin calling the comment cards. Mr. Peter Poley. Mr. Good evening, sir. If you would state your name and your place of residence for the record.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
If you would state your name and your residence for the record.
Oh, okay. My name is Peter Poye. I'm in Vieira, Florida. I live at 3 Fountains. And JJ, sit. I use SCAT quite often. And I think it's one terrible. Terribly. When we have our NFB meeting, for example, I'm the first one to be picked up, sometimes at 6 in the morning, for a 9:30 appointment. I am on the bus for 3 hours or more going and 3 hours or more coming back. It's like I have nothing better to do with my time. And I think that has to be changed, for one. I had a doctor appointment, and I called SCAT and had to be there at 9 o'clock. Well, they told me they could pick me up at 7. They don't open up till 8. And my appointment, I figured by 11:30 I could be done. They could only pick me up at 2 o'clock. So I said, I'll take public transportation instead. We rely on this so much because I can't drive a car, and I think it really has to be, something has to be done about it. That's basically what I wanted to have to say about it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Come here, Jay.
Glenda Heller? Good evening, ma'am. If you would
Good
state your
evening.
name and your residence for us.
My name is Glenda Heller. I live at 6947 Owen Drive in Heritage Isle, Vieira. I'm having a problem with SCAT. I don't think the funding is adequate. Vieira has been put into the North District. I pay taxes to Melbourne. All of my doctors are in Melbourne. My grocery store is in Melbourne. Where I get my nails and my hair done is in Melbourne. And I cannot go there any longer. I can go to Vieira, I can go to Cocoa, I can go to Titusville, but I can't go to someplace that's 1 or 2 miles away from me. I can only go to Vieira. I cannot go to Melbourne, even though I pay taxes. In addition to that, and it makes it very difficult for me because then I have to get Uber or a taxi, and it's almost impossible to pay for that all the time. My grocery store is in Melbourne. So the other thing that I was I'm a little bit nervous in talking to you all because it's so important to me. I did call up SCAT, and they use Volunteers in Motion or some group like that to pick me up. Well, they told me they would not come into Heritage Isle. So in order for me to get them on a hot day or a cold day, I have to walk to the to Wickham Road. And that's, that's a healthy walk for someone that's 80, almost 80 years old, and a walk back. I find that we have a community there. There's a, even though we have a gate, anyone can get in. And that was, oops, my time is up. So I wanted to make you aware of that. The other thing that I was upset about was I also went to the meeting once with 3 hours each way, just as Peter just said. And it was acceptable to drive 6 hours or be in a bus for 6 hours at the time that they would take me to get to Palm Bay, and 6-hour trip to get to a meeting in Palm Bay. I also can't get to my voting area. I live in Vieira, and they don't, with our clubhouse being closed, the voting is in a church that's in Suntree. I can't get to Suntree. So if you could do something about that in terms of giving the transportation group a little bit more money or whatever you can do, I would appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Miss
I
Maria?
hope you can help me.
Thank you, ma'am. Miss Maria Rigolowski?
Good evening.
Good evening, Maria.
Rigliosi.
Rigliosi.
No problem. You called me, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm a very big user of SCAT. I use the fixed route, and I use paratransit. I am legally blind. I still have minimal vision, which I try to use as often as I can. I am employed. For lack of a better description, I do what I call repetitive tasks. It doesn't change, so I can do it with no problem. As I said, I use the buses extensively. I do go to the meetings one Saturday a month for the National Federation of the Blind, the Melbourne Space Coast chapter. I ride the bus and I help my fellow members get on and get off the bus, because I will. I don't believe in just sitting back and letting somebody struggle. The bus drivers are exemplary. I mean, when they see me struggling to get onto the bus because my legs don't want to bend after standing for 4 hours, the gentleman gets out and literally helps me onto the bus. He doesn't have to do that, but he does. My question, I know that this bus system operates on a shoestring budget. Shoestrings are okay sometimes, but sometimes you stretch them too far and they snap. What about some of the municipalities contributing to the transportation system, especially if the transportation system services their municipality? I mean, it's only fair, that, to my opinion anyway. If you're going to have buses in your jurisdiction, and that makes life in your area that much more plausible and doable, why aren't you contributing to the transportation services? Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. But that's something that I'm thinking, should be explored. I know everybody says, money's tight. That's one way of sort of finding out if a little extra cash can be infused. I thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Camille Tate?
I found it. There you go. Okay, let me find the microphone. Okay, so I'm Camille Tate. I live at 2945 Kemblewick Drive in Melbourne. I am actually here as president of the Melbourne Space Coast Chapter National Federation of the Blind of Florida. We've been around for about 3 years now, and we've been coming before the County Commission for about 2 years to talk about our transit system. I want to thank you for the increase that we've seen in the transit system budget. Of course, like everybody else will say, it's never enough, but you know what? Sometimes you have to take baby steps before you can learn to walk and then learn to run. My comments regarding the transit system, as you've heard from several of the members of my chapter, some of them have challenges that are due to geography. We are, I think, the longest county in Florida. And I think we're also one of the widest, if not the widest. So there's a lot of area to cover, and so some of them are having some challenges that we just have not been able to resolve, and we may not ever be able to resolve. But we come to speak before you to let you know just how important transit is to us. It is our means to get educated. It's our means to go to the doctor, to the grocery store. It's the way we can get to and from work. One of the things we'll also be coming to see you also about throughout the year as well is not just regarding transit itself, but regarding our sidewalks and our intersections, our street lights and bus shelters, because we've been noticing a trend now that more of us have been out there in the community being more independent and walking around. I use this. This is our tool, our symbol of freedom and independence. I have now broken 2 of these on the sidewalk where I live, so it's becoming an issue that will come before you as well, and we're hoping there'll be some room in the budget maybe to fix some of these sidewalks where they're so uneven and cracked. But I want to thank you again for keeping transit in mind and understanding that the disabled are a part of this community and will continue to use our transit system. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Joseph Nolte?
Okay. Good evening. I'm Joseph P. Nolte. I was the founder of the Melbourne Space Coast chapter. I'm totally blind, a little light perception in one eye, and almost totally deaf. I've been a businessman in up north, and I'm looking at all the issues like I'm saying, where's the money? When I hear numbers of 1.7 or 1.8, 1.9, and I compare it with the other counties that they're talking about $7, $8, $9 million for a budget, I think we've been put on the back burner. I recently heard that we had to change the charter from 2021 to 2023. And then there was a loan for a large sum of money. I don't know how much is true, but I heard $30 million to fix the potholes in this county. The streets must be fixed. I agree. I enjoy going to the gym. I've been going 10 and a half years. I thank the transportation service to get me there every Monday and Friday. But there's a big lack here. There's a double-edged sword. The population is exploding. People are needing more services. The money is not growing. Something is radically wrong. If there's $30 million to fix potholes, I think we ought to get a little bit of that to increase that, double that 1.9, to give us a little inspiration that we're going to improve the transportation in this county. I know it is a struggle to make things happen with very little money. Somehow or other, some miracles have to take place. I want to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. You got a tough job on your shoulders. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nolte. Arlene Nolte, you're next, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Arlene Nolte. Joe did not give his address. We both live at 3924 South Wind Drive in West Melbourne, 32904. I am a cited member of the National Federation of the Blind and have belonged to the National Federation of the Blind for over 25 years. So I feel that I have a little insight into the challenges. First of all, it's important to say that we know you're doing the best you can with what you get. And SCAT does a stellar job in trying to make it all work. But in order to make it all work, we have these little, they're not little to the people that are involved. We have these issues where some people who desperately need service, particularly for medical purposes, live in an area that cannot be serviced to get them back into Melbourne, even though they're paying taxes to Melbourne. Some of this needs to be worked with. I feel that SCAT is looking at it and that we need to support them with what they are doing with the limited amount of funds that they have. We'll continue to work on Ms. Heller's issue to see if some exceptions can't be made so she could at least get to her doctor. Again, thank you very much for listening. As a member of the National Federation of the Blind Melbourne Space Coast chapter, as well as the national, I do realize that this is a unique situation, and there are many others that also need service other than people with disabilities. We speak primarily for the blind, but we know there are others in the community who have challenges and need to use the transportation service. First of all, again, thank you to SCAT that do what the best they can with what they get, and hope that you all will be able to continue to support them in their efforts to provide service to those who need it most. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Ron Bryant? Mr. Bryant, are you here tonight? Yeah.
Mr. Bryant is here, but he is in the restaurant.
He's the last speaker.
He's in the restaurant. Someone's going to get him. Because I didn't use all my time, may I have an additional 20 seconds? The people in the back of the room are from the National Federation of the Blind. They brought a busload.
All right, Mr. Ron Bryant's on his way up. Bless you.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Good
Thank
evening,
you.
sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Ronald Bryant. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I come to you as a citizen of Brevard County. I have a certain request that I would ask you to consider. I'm here with a group of individuals, however, that all have had lives similar to what you're living now. Not commissioners, but have had active lives. I had a 30-year military career before I lost my sight. And one lady ran a blind rehabilitation, not a rehab center, an outreach center for 13 years at no payment to her, but reaching out to help others who were walking into blindness learn to be blind. We find ourselves now, after these careers that we've had, we need your help. We need the help of the public of Brevard County to understand that we have certain needs. Just like the driving public needs roads and bridges, we need buses and transportation, be it fixed route or paratransit. Which brings me to my request to you this evening as a citizen of Brevard County. I would like to ask your consideration of doing a study of the fixed and paratransit bus system in Brevard County. Number one, I'd like you to consider, are we paying enough, we as the user, are we paying enough riding the bus to help defray costs? If there should be a rise in fare, we would ask additional services in that our lives sort of stop at 6:30 when the bus system stops. Many of us don't have enough funds to be able to go on Uber or take a taxi, and we don't always have a friend who's available to take us places. As you can go get in your car and drive, and just like I did for years, and I didn't think a thing about who was on the bus and what their plight was. But I guarantee you, if this, what happened to me, happens to you, you will definitely think about it. I guarantee you that. I ask also that you, in this study, look at the two artificial boundaries, one at Pineda Causeway. If I get on the paratransit at Palm Bay, I get to Pineda, then I have to wait an amount of time for the next sector bus to come and pick me up and take me to yet another sector waiting point and Port St. John's. What would take you about an hour and 10, hour and 20 minutes to go from Palm Bay to Titusville or to Mims to visit someone's grave in the National Cemetery, if you happen to be a veteran, it would take us somewhere around 4 hours, which is, considerable when you really stop and think about a day's travel. And today we happened to rent a van so that we could come to this meeting and we could express to you our needs and hope you would hear our needs and help us by doing a study. And we're not asking you to raise taxes on homeowners. This is a personal plea. I've seen other jurisdictions raise the sales tax by a half cent, and I know it's been tried before and hasn't been successful, but we need the public of Brevard County to realize that we too were citizens, we still pay taxes, we still vote.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your ideas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, that's all of the comment cards, so I'm going to close public comment. Item D3, County Manager.
Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, for item D3, it is recommended that the Board of County Commissioners discuss the tentatively adopt the fiscal year 2018-2019 millage rates. Any changes to the millage rates under this item would be recomputed and announced under item D4. So at this time, it's open for the board to discuss and then hopefully tentatively adopt the proposed millage rates.
Thank you, sir. So, Commission, do we have any discussion or someone want to make a motion to approve the tentative millage rate?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
Madam
sir.
Chair, I'll make a motion to adopt the proposed millage rate.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Smith, a second by Commissioner Barfield. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item D4.
Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, based on the approved changes in millage rates that were approved on agenda item D3, I will now ask the Budget Office to read into the record the revised aggregate millage rates.
Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, the aggregate rolled-back rate for the fiscal year 2018-2019 budget is 6.0349. The aggregate tentative millage rate for the fiscal year 2018-2019 budget is 6.0349. The tentative aggregate millage rate is equal to the aggregate rollback rate.
Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, we are now ready for the rate approval and adoption of the specific program budgets. These actions are necessary in order to certify non-ad valorem assessment to the tax collector in accordance with the Uniform Method of Collection, Florida Statute 917.3632.
Okay, item D5.
Okay, item D5 requests the adoption of the solid waste disposal, collection, impact fees, special rates, gate charges, and ratification of the corresponding tax rolls.
Okay, Commission, I need a vote motion and a second on this one. Commissioner Barfield? I'm
I make
sorry.
a motion, we accept that.
Motion by Commissioner Barfield. Second by Commissioner Tabaya. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item D6.
Item D6 requests the adoption of the stormwater utility resolution ratifying, confirming, and certifying the annual stormwater utility special assessment rolls.
Thank you, ma'am. Commission?
Make a motion, we accept it.
Motion by Commissioner Barfield, second by Commissioner Isnardi. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item D7.
Item D7 requests the ratification, confirmation, and certification of the annual fire services non-ad valorem special assessment tax rolls.
Thank you, ma'am. Commission?
Madam Chairman, I would like to make a motion to certify the annual fire services non-ad valorem special assessment.
I have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by
Second.
Commissioner Barfield. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Commissioner Isnardi opposed. Passes 4-0. Item,
4-1.
sorry. Didn't mean to leave you out there, ma'am. Item D8.
Item D8 requests the adoption of schedule of rates and charges for hazardous materials special operations team, standby response, fire prevention, and inspection rates.
Thank you, ma'am. Commission, do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to adopt the schedule of rates and fees for the hazardous materials special operations team and standby response fire prevention.
Thank you, sir. Motion by Commissioner Smith, a second by
Second.
Commissioner Barfield. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 9.
Item D9, request adoption of a resolution certifying the Municipal Services Benefit Unit assessment rolls to the tax collector.
Thank you, ma'am. Commission.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Isnardi, second by
Second.
Commissioner Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. County Manager.
Agenda item D10, Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, in accordance with the Brevard County Code of Ordinances, I request adoption of the fiscal year 2018-2019 budgets for the following agencies: Solid Waste Management, Stormwater Utility Department, Fire Services Non-Ad Valorem Assessment, Melbourne-Tillman Water Control District.
Thank you, sir. Commission.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adopt the budgets for 2018-2019 for the districts enumerated by our county manager.
Second.
Thank you, sir. I have a motion by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Barfield. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. County Manager.
Agenda item D11 with utility services. Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, it is requested that the governing body of the Barefoot Bay Water and Sewer District approve a resolution adopting a budget for fiscal year 2018-2019.
Thank you, sir. Commission.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Isnardi, a second by
Second.
Commissioner Tabaya. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. County Manager.
We're on agenda item D12. Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, based on the action taken under agenda item D3, I now ask that the Budget Office read into the record the revised tentative budget for fiscal year 2018-2019.
Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, the revised tentative budget for fiscal year 2018-2019 is $1,302,977,360. The revised tentative budget represents an increase of 1.41%, or $18,056,545 from the current budget of $1,284,920,815.
Thank you, ma'am.
Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, I request tentative approval of a resolution adopting the fiscal year 2018-2019 Brevard County budget.
Thank you, sir. Commission.
I make a motion that we accept the tentative approval of a resolution adopting the county's budget for FY 2018 and 2019.
Thank you, sir. A motion by Commissioner Barfield, second by
Second.
Commissioner Isnardi. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. And we will have the final budget hearing in 2 weeks, correct, sir?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank all of you for your input tonight. We're going to move into board reports. County Attorney?
No report.
Thank you. County Manager?
No report.
Commissioner Barfield?
We keep coming back to those transportation issues, and what I would like to consider doing is getting our TPO, Transportation Planning Organization, to do a study comparing if we go to mobility fees versus transportation impact fees. I believe that there's a movement where you can do mobility fees that can be used for various different transportation projects or projects such as transportation. I'd just like to know us to get a report of what those differences are and how that could work. I think we can just request that from the TPO. I don't know that we have to do a motion. I don't know how that works, but I think we need to look at that.
You want to bring it up at the
That y'all
TPO?
need to look at that. but-
Bring it up at the TPO meeting
Yes.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay, I would support that, sir. Is that all you have tonight?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Tabaya?
No report, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Smith?
No report, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Isnardi?
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth when it comes to TPO. I said if anybody's got the ability to help us, I think it would be the Transportation Planning Organization. This has always been an issue for me as far as transportation and mobility, and not just the paratransport, but just transport in general, because what people don't realize is that most people that ride the bus are going to work. And if this helps people be employed, it helps the economy, it helps our community. And you know, we were able to pick up another bus in our area, or I should say in District 5 in the southeast, southwest portion of Palm Bay, and that was a big deal. However, I understand the hoops we had to go through, not just to get federal grant funding, but in order for, or state funding, in order for us to make that happen. It's still, it's quite the expense to take on. So again, I'll work with you, Jim, if that's okay. We can put our heads together and we can find a way to do it. I mean, even like you said, and I like the term baby steps, because you understand with our budget how difficult it can be to peel away dollars when we have so many departments that are in need. So I'd be happy to work with Jim, if it's okay with the board, to try to see what we can do on that angle, and Jim and all of us can work with the TPO to see what we can happen there. But it's an issue that's pretty important to me too, so I'll do whatever I can to help. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. And I have no report tonight, so I will call this meeting adjourned. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening.
The opinions expressed by any member of the public during any period of public comment do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, or the program sponsor, and are solely those of the presenter. The Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, and the program sponsor hereby expressly disclaim any and all responsibility or liability for any defamatory or slanderous statements expressed by any member of the public during any such period.